Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Storm Teammate Meteorologist Ashley Baylor in the News 8 Now Stream Center. It has become a very active afternoon. As soon as the severe thunderstorm watch went in effect, we started to have some warnings pop up. So let's get right into it. We are not only tracking some very strong storms that are moving across the state, but there have been multiple damage reports. So let's go ahead and just show you what's going on. We have this line of showers and thunderstorms that is crossing the state, all courtesy of a cold front. But as you can see, there are multiple individual cells that are producing heavy rain. We have many areas that are seeing frequent lightning. And as I said, we've had a few damage reports out there. So right now we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of New Haven and Middlesex County. So we actually have these two cells that are kind of back to back. And that heavier cell, the one that you're seeing in the red, that one has had a history of producing some pretty strong wind gusts. So that one is located over North Guilford, Killingworth. That is going to be heading towards Madison and Clinton. East Hatham's also seeing some heavy rain. But then right behind that, we have another heavy cell that's over Hamden and Wallingford. And Wallingford, I am seeing some damage reports there of trees down. I'll get into the damage reports in just a second, but let me take you around the radar first. We have some heavy rain that is coming down over Southbury, Woodbury. These areas have already been hit a couple of times over, so they're pretty waterlogged. Some wind damage reports coming out of Waterbury and Naugatuck, and now you can see more lightning strikes popping up there. We also have a pretty healthy cell over Brookfield, and then getting up into Litchfield County, you can see around Torrington, Thomaston, Burlington. That's where we have another severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect, and that cell has been moving off to more of the east-southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So the primary threats all along have been heavy rain, frequent lightning, gusty winds. I also wouldn't rule out the possibility of some small hail, but small hail is not usually enough to trigger a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, of course, I've also been watching our velocity scope to see if any of these storms produce any sort of rotation. It doesn't look like they are. It looks like if we are seeing wind damage, it's more straight line wind damage. We are still seeing that heavy rain over Windsor. So if you're trying to fly out of Bradley International this afternoon, probably want to check with your carrier to see if your plane might be delayed. Manchester, Bolton, Tolland, all picking up on heavy rain and frequent lightning. We have some very heavy rain falling from Basra up towards I think it's Wyndham under there, under all of that rain and all of that frequent lightning there. And where you're seeing those spots of gray, that's sometimes indicative that there could be some small hail falling out of that storm cell. We also have heavy rain around Putnam, stretching through Waregan, down through Plainfield into Norwich. So even though we still only have the two severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, the entire state is still under a severe thunderstorm watch. So let me just check in with the latest damage reports. I'm going to pop myself back up really quickly. So as far as damage reports go, I've been reporting some of these to our assignment desk, so I do believe they're making calls to actually get confirmation. These are so far just reports coming in, nothing perfectly confirmed. But I am seeing in Waterbury reports of a tree down on the wires on Ludlow Street at Lincoln Avenue. There's also a tree down on the wires at Crescent Street. So if you do come across that, don't go anywhere near the wires. Anytime wires are down, you have to assume that they're active and that they're hot. We also have a report in Waterbury, a tree down on a house on Greenwood Avenue. Power lines to the house also brought down. So multiple reports of trees and power lines down, which also indicates that these storms were producing some pretty decent wind gusts. And I also mentioned Wallingford was also getting in on some of the damage as well. Now, no location on this, but Wallingford reporting a large tree branch down on a car windshield, and also getting reports of a tree down from a lightning strike in Wallingford, but I am not seeing any specific location. Again, I think we have our assignment desk working on that. And more recently, another damage report coming in from Waterbury, tree down on primary wires on Willow Street at Calumet Street. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. So multiple reports coming in from Waterbury, but also I am seeing some more reports. I think one just came in from... Did it come in from Sharon? Oh, I think it's in Albany. Yes. Sure enough, in Sharon, which is up in Litchfield County, reports, again, nothing confirmed, tree down on a car in the area of Long Pond Road, potentially a person trapped and injured. Those are just reports. I can't emphasize enough that's not been confirmed, but these are just some of the reports that we see coming in from one of our weather sites here. So again, we have our assignment desk that is checking it on that. I really hope somebody hasn't been injured or is trapped. You know, sometimes when you get these reports and you hope that's not what's going on. You hope it sounds worse than it actually is, if you will. All right, so let's continue on here. Ooh, that's a nasty looking cloud in Long Wharf, where temperatures are around 93 degrees. So we had really two main stories today, not only the storms that have been moving across the state, but also the heat and the humidity. So 93 degrees, we know it feels hotter than that. And here's a look in Hartford, about 80 degrees here. And here's just a quick check at Water's Edge Resort. I wonder if that's even live. That's too many people on the beach for basically a incoming thunderstorm here. I've really tried to emphasize that through the afternoon as well, that if you were going to be out at the beach, at the pool, at the splash pad, on the golf course, anywhere outdoors today, that you really needed to be weather aware, kind of keep an eye on the radar, listen for those rumbles of thunder, and as soon as you hear those rumbles of thunder, assume that there is going to be lightning and move indoors. Unfortunately, there have been too many instances over the summer that we've heard people getting hit by lightning. Sometimes it's from a thunderstorm, but sometimes it's what we call an out of the blue strike, where there could be a strike that kind of goes away from the parent thunderstorm cell, and people get hit that way too. So the rule of thumb is if you can see lightning, you are close enough to be struck by it. And this is not exactly a flat state where you can see the lightning, from 30, 40 miles away. This is not one of those states. This is not like Florida. So you can see some rain-cooled temperatures here, 79 degrees in Waterbury, 75 in Torrington, 76 in Windsor Loch, 79 in Willimantic. So that's some rain-cooled air there, even 80 in Meriden. But we're still at 94 in Danbury, 93 in Bridgeport, 91 degrees in Chester. Dew points still well into the 70s. So the heat index, what it feels like outside, is around 105 in New Haven, 102 in Bridgeport. I know Lisbon is reading 111, but being perfectly transparent here, Lisbon does tend to read a little bit warmer than the surrounding area. Winds are streaming up from the south, anywhere from 5 to about 21 miles per hour. So we've had some good gusts at times today, not even associated with a thunderstorm per se. But here's the thing. If you have any plans this evening, I think most of the action is going to be done by about 6 or 7 o'clock. Even though that severe thunderstorm watch is expected to run through 9, I expect it will be allowed to expire a little bit earlier than that. Now, as we go through the overnight hours, things will certainly quiet down. We'll be under mainly clear skies. The humidity is going to come down. Tomorrow, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds. It won't be nearly as muggy. It won't be nearly as oppressive, but it's still going to be warm with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. So going into tomorrow, great day for any and all outdoor activities. Unfortunately, going into Sunday, that's when the humidity climbs and the thunder shower threat returns. But in the meantime, mainly clear, or turning mainly clear tonight, I really should say. Temperatures dropping into the mid 60s to about 70 degrees at the shoreline. And then tomorrow, sun and clouds. It is going to be warm and less humid with highs in the mid to upper 80s. So here's a look at our 8-day shoreline forecast, where unfortunately Sunday, the thunder shower threat isn't necessarily just limited to the afternoon. It does look like we could pick up on some rain shower action even in the morning going through midday. So of the 2 weekend days, Saturday is definitely the better day for outdoor activities. Now Monday, turn up the heat and the humidity a little bit more. We'll be in the low 90s for Monday and Tuesday at the shoreline alone. For inland areas, we'll be in the low to mid 90s for Monday and Tuesday. So when you factor in that humidity, it'll feel hotter than that. Slim chance of a late day shower or thunderstorm Wednesday. That's courtesy of another cold front that will come through. That one is going to be a tad more potent, just in the sense it is going to bring temperatures and the humidity down to more of a noticeable level there. So going back here, I'm just going to pop myself up full screen so I can go back to our radar here. And I'm also just going to quickly look to see if any more damage reports have come out. Quite a few reports actually coming in from Massachusetts as well. Okay, the severe thunderstorm warning for Litchfield County has been allowed to expire, so that's good news there. Let me just back up. Go to our original radar view. All right, so let's check it out here. So again, you can see Litchfield County, that severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to drop, but the severe thunderstorm warning that's still in effect for parts of New Haven and Middlesex County is continuing on. In fact, let me zoom in really quickly. All right, so we do have that heavy rain that is coming down now around Madison, Clinton, up towards Killingworth. And I mean, I really can't emphasize, look at how much lightning is coming out of that storm, and this is the one that has a history of producing some strong wind gusts. So that's why I just, before I get off of this stream right here, I wanted to make sure that we were not seeing any more damage reports. So the takeaway here, heavy rain, frequent lightning, strong wind gusts. Things are still going to be a little bit dicey over the next few hours, but as I mentioned, I think most of this will wrap up by about 6 or 7 o'clock. So if you had dinner plans outside for maybe a little bit later, maybe around 7 or 8 o'clock, it does look like you'll be okay for that. All right. Please take care of yourselves out there as we continue on through the afternoon. I will certainly let you know if any more warnings pop up. I'll let you know on air and also online at WTNH.com. If I don't see you for any reason, have a great weekend. Bye, guys.